We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Have you been training this weekend? Well, I think I have. See that very comfortable cot back there? I've been sleeping, getting all the rest I can, getting recharged for the upcoming week. Oh, I found it incredible that YouTube's going to allow us to talk about elections and stuff. How about that? Boy, aren't they generous? They allow us, grown adults, to talk about whatever we want. Well, I tell you what, I continue to look around and everyone seems to be among the consensus-minded that guess what? It's because the Democrats are going to want to scream and yell because they think President Donald J. Trump is going to win the next election. They are fearful of it. They're planning it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take it one step further, folks. This is why you're here on the Prepared Mind channel, because we have other thoughts. We think ahead. We plan, because chance favors the prepared mind, does it not? Folks, the Democrats in D.C., they love their power, but who is more powerful than they? The people that pull their strings. The mega bankers, mega corporations, mega wealthy. They are the Illuminati, and they pull the Democrats' chains and tell them what to do. Well, guess what I am predicting right here, right now on the Prepared Mind channel on this Zoo, this Sunday Night Live. The Democrats are going to give it to Trump. Not really the Democrats, but their masters. The reason, right? Everything needs a reason. Everything, right? What they need is they need America to disintegrate into chaos. Absolute chaos. They want more 2020, folks. They want more of that. They got a lot of mileage out of that, did they not? Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And hit the notification bell if you haven't hit that already as well. Folks, we're going to continue to make breakthrough discoveries on this channel by reading all of the news and bringing it together, observing it, examining it, sharing it with other R Syndicate members, hitting stuff pow out of the park when we figure it out, and letting you know so you can be ready ahead of time. How much, right? One of the big memes going around is, conspiracy theory turned conspiracy fact number 78, right? All of the conspiracy memes about, well, it was a theory, now it's fact. How many of these conspiracy theories do I have to get right before they're no longer conspiracy? That stuff. Well, that's what we do here. And it's not about making conspiracy theories come true. It's about figuring out what's going on while it's just a radical idea, but making sure we understand the factual basis that supports everything. So I really think they meaning the bankers, the rich people, they want the Democrats out of the White House because they know the radical left will lose their shit. I mean, they've already lost their shit with Joe Biden as president. With all the power he's throwing around, I sure hope you've been paying attention, folks. We got a lot more to cover. Now, this is Sunday Night Live. This is the Zoo, where we've got thepreparedmind.club, our flagship internet website. We have subscribestar.com, another premium site you can join. And we've also got YouTube, the trifecta of getting in their faces with facts. Now, we have to be very careful. We were told we can talk about elections and election fraud and election this and irregularities and blah, blah, blah. We're now allowed to. Well, thank you, Daddy YouTube. But get this. I got this message. Due to the war in Ukraine, we will pause monetization of content that exploits, dismisses, or condones the war. Who condones this war? The United States government. They're condoning it. They're exploiting it. Who is dismissing it? I'm not dismissing shit. I'm trying to bring as many facts about what's going on as possible. But they're just letting us know. Just so you know. We're going to take away any monetization that we would have given you because of the war. Woo! I tell you, man, I tell you. I want to thank Chin Music for a $22.23 super chat donation right off the bat. He's the first one to check in today. And as usual, for any $50 or more super chat donation, I'll be drinking, a shot of Glenlivet 18. This is my scotch of choice. I've had 21 year, folks, and it's good. But is it worth the difference? I don't know. Anyways, I want to thank you, Chin Music, for the great donation. And Jolene or Ooman will put your questions and comments and thoughts up on the board as we go. I have a ton of topics, folks. Ton of topics. Besides Google wanting more silence out of us. But before I get to that, let's do you guys. It is your show. This is your time to shine. It's Sunday Night Live. And so Chin Music, well, he's already got his stuff in with some random thoughts. He says, nothing gives a lefty a seizure like denying them access to other people's children. That's the hill we must defend, all of us. Pride is the inability to process shame. Ooh, there's some philosophical deepness there, man. He says, Democrats know the price of everything and the value of nothing. And hypocrisy is the tribute that vice pays to virtue. All great pieces of wisdom. Folks, if you're not familiar with them, the tenets, the psychological and shall we even say spiritual connection between those words and the human individual and humanity in general. I recommend writing them down and looking them up. Thank you very much, Chin Music. Yeah. And pride is the inability to process shame. In other words, wow. Oof. And then, yeah, wanting access to other people's children. You see, because freaks, folks, those who participate in the world of fruit salad, they can't have children. So they want yours. They try and adopt them, but they want more than what they can get their hands on. They're a bunch of sick bastards, all of them. And we got a lot coming on that. But now, again, this is your show. This is your show. It's your time to shine. It's your time to speak your thoughts. Hit that super chat button right up there, or do, let's see, a Venmo, CashApp, or PayPal. And those links are down below in the description. And you can get your questions up here. I'll make you famous. Just like every week, Chin Music steps up and he gets made famous. And joining him, as usual, every week is Darcy T. Darcy T. And she has a $50 super chat donation. And super chat donations, folks, go to training zones like this, where I go out with friends, well, compatriots, right? We go out and we train, physically train out in the wilderness, whether it's one night or two, whatever it takes, whether it's just a day trip out into the woods, the jungles, the swamps. There it is, right there. Well, Darcy gets the first one out of the gate, and it has a tendency to loosen the lips a little bit and get me rolling. Semper Fi, and thank you, Darcy. All right. Whoa. Like mother's milk. She says, good evening, John. I know everyone is talking about the latest Biden trip up. You know, him falling on the stage and then hitting his head on a Marine One helicopter as he got off, as well as, well, getting kind of lost and having to be, well, shall we say, chaperoned. Anyways, I know everyone's talking about the latest Biden trip up as if he's just a doddering old man. But I can't help to think that the evil controllers of this world are also telegraphing a message that America is falling. I think that is very astute of you to tie the American presidency to a doddering old fool, as if the country itself is made up of fools that are old, aged, beyond their use. And I'm not saying that that's what old people are, folks, but the symbolic message, I think it is, how do I put this? I don't think it goes without merit. That's a great observation. They're telling the world, look at America. It's run by an idiot. Look at America. It's past its prime. Look at America. It's weak and feeble. Look at America. It is falling. And it is falling and degrading fast. Very good. All right, everyone, hit that internet address up there. Click it, copy it, send it off to others. We need 500 people live here tonight. All at once. I want to see them all at once. I know we're going to have, by the time this video is done, thousands will have watched, but having 500 all at once is a powerful message. That's far more than President Biden gets. It truly is. President Biden, he doesn't even get what we get. And here I am, broadcasting from the jungle, right? He has the White House, the fake White House studio, right? He has the power of the American media behind him. The mainstream media, the legacy media, social media, big tech media, and the Hollywood media scene, as well as, well, all the news channels. And he's still, when he goes live, he gets less views than us. Unfreaking believable on YouTube. Anyways, let's have some more fun, folks. Let us, we got to have fun. We've got to have fun at their expense. I've got no problem at their expense. We need to make fun of the political left, as well as become aware and share. I think that if you ran up to somebody and screamed, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Believe me, look at this. You know, you're going to die. You're all going to die a burning, fiery death. That's not going to be as appealing as maybe a little bit of humor. Hey, did you see Dumbass the other day? This is what he did. This is what he said. Did you see what the hell they're doing? You know, it's some incredible stuff. What is going on? So let us continue if we shall. Let's do some more super chat donations. That's how you guys make this channel work. It's your channel. Sunday Night Live is everyone's show. And we talk about the upcoming week. You can talk about last week. You can talk about ancient history, or you can talk about the near or far future. Now, Portland Patriot is checked in as a YouTube member. Welcome, Portland Patriot. You live in a dangerous zone, man. Portland is falling apart. In fact, I caught a news story that up in Portland, I believe 6 women are missing. Apparently, there may be another serial killer in that area. I think isn't the Green River Killer from somewhere up in that zone, Washington, Portland area. Anyways, crazy stuff. Be very, very careful there, brother. Crazy business on the West Coast. Okay, Jolene, what else have we got out there? We've got Crazy Uncle checking in. Crazy Uncle checking in with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, for your information, the fire in Canada has caused major issues for gardens and fruit. The late frost due to fire has forced replant and total loss of fruit for the year. That is messed up business. Yeah, Canada already on fire. But folks, that it just seems like the food issue is not going to go away. It's not going to go away. They want us to eat worms or bugs or some kind of bio sludge. Right? They want us to eat their special chemical crap, their mRNA injected food, and they're not giving up. They just, oh, well, John, I mean, you can't blame the fire on some plot, some conspiracy to take our food from us. No, it's just one in another series of coincidences. One in another series of major coincidences. I don't know. You've got to be prepared. You truly do, folks. You've got to be prepared for what's coming along. Let me go with this. Folks, I want to cover, this is a big piece of news, came through. I want to thank Orlando and Uman and others for sending it to me and talking about it. And Nikki out there. There was a huge explosion that was heard in Washington, D.C. Supposedly, to many people, it felt like an earthquake. It hit so hard. Such a big boom. Right? Such a big boom. Apparently, and Uman, you can chime in if you'd like on this and help out or add to or correct me if you wish. Always welcome, brother. He says, not Uman doesn't, but the news says, well, this sonic boom was created by a Department of Defense sonic boom by one of their aircraft. Hey, there's the Uman. How are you, man?
Evening, everybody.
Happy zoo time to you.
Absolutely.
Well, the first thing I said in my head is bullshit. The second thing I said is, I wonder if it's a hypersonic Russian missile that was sent as a flyover just to send a little warning that they won't be able to detect it, they won't be able to stop it. And did this supposed aircraft crash in somewhere in the mountains?
They said the mountains of Virginia, I believe. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So the Cessna outran supersonic jets, so it could crash in the mountains.
They didn't say that it outran it, but they said that there was an unresponsive pilot or something flying, or a Cessna, an unresponsive Cessna flying towards Washington, D.C. They scrambled the jets. There were supersonic booms. And my question is, okay, did they let it fly over D.C. as planned or as it was heading, or did they shoot it down or what? I have no idea. I haven't seen enough stories about it yet.
Right. Well, the timeline on something, when you start talking about what supersonic and hypersonic and when was the boom and, the series of timed events, what order they happened in, I don't think we'll ever get straight.
Probably not. We'll get the timeline of events that best suits their story. That's for sure.
Oh, you conspiracy nut, you. But that's how I feel about it. Now, seriously, can you trust Washington, D.C. to tell the truth? Everyone out there, ask yourself, can you trust Washington, D.C. to tell you the truth?
I do not.
They didn't tell us the truth about monkeypox. They wanted to scare everyone with that. They tried it for weeks until everyone was like, well, you got to attend a gay orgy to get that.
Or about the jet flying into the Pentagon.
Well, there's that. Yeah. There's all kinds of problems with their stories, whether it's all of it. It's all bullshit. If they're telling us something, I believe that it's probably 75% lie.
Like I said, whatever is going to fit their narrative the best is what they will tell us. And I don't, unless people start putting out videos of what they saw or filmed, and you could put some timeline together about that, there's no way we're going to know about it.
And that's the thing with now a supersonic jet you can see. It is just flying faster than the speed of sound. A hypersonic missile, nobody can see it. So you would just hear a boom and that's all you would hear. I just wonder, because Russia right now is basically really pissed off.
I don't know that they'd take a shot like that. I mean, if it was a hypersonic missile, That thing would have been launched and landed and exploded way before they could even scramble a supersonic jet. So
that was what my thought was.
That
If the
doesn't make
boom
sense
goes
to me.
by, if the boom goes by, they scramble a bunch of jets up in the air to find nothing. They're going to have to fabricate some kind of story. And this is all hyperbolous speculation.
Yes, it is.
Because we can't know.
We got no top secret squirrel insider information to give you folks.
No, all I can say is I don't believe a fucking word they say. That's what I have to say. I'm going to expect more of this type of stuff to go on from this point forward. I don't know why we wouldn't expect more of this. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in the list of topics for tonight. For example, James Comey coming out, and he kind of supports my idea that Trump is going to win and that we're going to have mass social unrest because of it. Because he was saying that, you know, Trump is an existential threat to law and order in this country. I don't know if you caught that news headline.
I did not see that, no.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened this weekend. A lot of, it seems almost like preparatory, getting people queued up for the next line of crap that's coming at us.
Yeah, and I totally can see that they would want Trump back in there so that they can ramp up the unrest.
Yeah. That's my take on it. But yeah, Comey coming out. He's James Comey, former FBI director, the man who let Hillary Clinton commit a felony and then walk. The man who was responsible for allowing all of the Russia collusion crap to continue and move forward. And wow, this guy still can't help but find his way in front of a camera and do his duty, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, the explosion shook the ground like an earthquake.
I didn't hear the couple of reports I saw right before the show. I didn't hear anything about shaking the ground like an earthquake, but again, I only saw, you know, 2 short blurbs about it.
Yeah. As a kid growing up, let's see, this would have been 1981, 82. Those years, especially at my school up in the Sierra Nevada foothills outside of Sacramento, we had McClellan Air Force Base, and Travis was way over there by Fairfield. But we would have jets fly over the mountains, and we used to get sonic booms all the time, shake the windows in the school. It was not a small amount of noise. No,
I remember when I was younger, the air shows down on the lakefront in Chicago. You know, I mean, they would do supersonic flybys, and they ended up having to stop that because they were having windows in these high rises shatter from that or fall out.
Right. Yeah. So to shake the ground like an earthquake, that would have to be something moving very, very fast.
Are there different magnitudes of booms?
I have no idea.
Or is a sonic boom just a sonic boom?
I have no idea. Is the boom much worse if the object is traveling 3, 4, 5 times the speed of sound? I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, I'm saying like equated difference between a bullet and an aircraft. I mean, they both make sonic booms. I'm guessing that the bigger the aircraft, maybe the bigger the boom would be.
That's what you would think.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yep. The larger the aircraft or the faster the aircraft, I guess, would make some sense. I just don't know.
We got some homework to do tonight.
Oh, yeah, I'll get right on that. Yeah. All right, well, let's move on with some more stuff, man. Thank you, Mr. Uman, for sharing your thoughts. There's going to be more coming up on this, I think. All right, everybody, let us have some fun. I want to do some super chat donations from you guys. Talk about what's on your mind. This is Sunday Night Live. This is The Zoo. Jolene, who do we want to put up next on the board? We got Luke Thompson with a $2 super chat donation. He says, my question. I recently acquired a newly used AR on the cheap. The 1x9 twist barrel has a squib. How do I go about removing? Well, you used to be able to go on YouTube to look at how to do it. First thing I would do is I would find the barrel that you want. Find the barrel that you want. And then I believe you'll be able to find online the how-to. It's important to remember that the upper receiver of an AR is aluminum. The barrel will be steel. And it's not incredibly difficult. It should be threaded right in there. It's not incredibly difficult, but you can get it replaced. The beautiful thing about the AR platform is it is so versatile. Unlike if you, I'm going to pick on the AK people here a little bit. You get an AK, you got an AK. Not a lot you can do with it, even though they do have some new tactical looking stuff for them. The AR you can put on bull barrels, you can put on barrels with different twists. You can get stainless barrels, fluted barrels, heavy barrel, short barrel, all manner of barrel, as well as foregrip, stock, different types of pistol grip. Then you have just the action itself. You can get some really high grade bolts, firing pins. You can, a titanium firing pin, good stuff out there to really ramp it up, as well as optics. So it's good that you got one on the cheap, because I think, Luke, that'll help you afford to buy what you need. I imagine the proper tools are easy to acquire in order to take that barrel off the receiver and then to rethread the new one on. I'm thinking, the barrel's threaded. I could be mistaken. Shit. It's been one hell of a long weekend. Anyways, go on the internet. That is the best place to find it. It's really too bad that YouTube has removed, it seems, all those interesting videos. And make sure whatever you do, get a good quality barrel with the M4 feed ramps, and just make it good. All right, let us move on. Jolene, we got Crazy Uncle. He says, I forgot to mention. He's got another $5 super chat donation. I forgot to mention. The fire is supposed to be only a forest fire, which makes me wonder, why does it reek of burnt plastic? Accidental fire? Right. Well, Canada, folks, is really rich in oil, right? The oil sands. And I think this is going to affect us mightily. If it smells like plastic, that tells me that there's probably some petrochemical stuff involved in it. Just this weekend, OPEC announced that they're going to be cutting their crude oil production again. They took it down to 15 million barrels per day. Now we're going to drop down another 1 million barrels. We're going to end up seeing some higher fuel and oil prices here in America, folks. We're going to see some more inflation because of this. Now remember that Saudi Arabia is now good friends with China and good friends with Russia. In fact, it's my understanding now that Saudi Arabia has, or some of the Saudi nations, have decided to melt some of their gold or all of their gold. I can't tell you which, because the story wasn't quite clear enough. But a lot of their gold has been melted down and recast in weight and form that the Chinese prefer. In other words, it looks like they're getting ready to back their, shall we say, currency, their work, their economic systems, so that they are copacetic with each other. More bad news for the petrodollar, the world reserve currency, aka the US dollar. It's continuing to become marginalized. It's going to be no better than any other currency. Does that mean it's worthless? No. Does that mean that we need to be very cautious and wary of what is happening? The answer is definitely a big yes. Anyways, back to your accidental fire. I don't believe in accidents. I really don't, Crazy Uncle. It's especially, right? Especially after what we've seen the last, I would say, 15 years. We've gone from coincidental and convenient for the agenda fires to downright, outright arson and I would say criminal behavior by Governor Gavin Newsom of California, who took, in my opinion, absolutely crappy interest, just shit level, even treasonous levels of disinterest in the fires burning in California. Crazy stuff. Well, yeah, crazy is it. Now, James Comey, who I said warned America that Trump would be an existential threat to lawfulness. Well, he couldn't help. He had to come right back out and warn everyone that he will only vote for Biden. And his warning came as the Trump presidency will be a retribution presidency. Now, I got kind of pissed off listening to that. I said, well, if retribution means following the law, they'll define anything they want any way they want. I think the Democrats are being told to let Trump win for the chaos as described earlier. But the retribution presidency, see what they're saying is Trump got screwed over in 2020. They admit it. And so they're afraid of retribution. Why retribution? Because they're projecting. They lost to Trump in 2016, so they got their retribution in 2020, folks. They are the ones who are coming after us. We're not going after them. Democrats aren't being lined up against a wall, put a cigarette in their mouth and blindfold them, and then give them the old 3, 2, 1 fire. They're not getting any of that. But if they're criminals, you bet. Now, what would it look like, folks, if we got a, let's see, Trump presidency and an attorney general who actually enforced the law, and an FBI director who actually enforced the law and wasn't a deep state puppet? Now, folks, once again, deep state is not a conspiracy theory. It isn't. Let me show you Steny Hoyer of Congress talking about the deep state. It's not a conspiracy theory. The government admits that they're there and that they have an agenda.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the president. The deep state, dedicated.
That's right, dedicated to carrying out the agenda. Well, if we were to actually get President Trump back in, and there's no guarantee, folks, that's just my prediction. And if he's able to find someone in Washington, D.C., an attorney general that isn't a member of the deep state, that will obey the law, uphold his oath, and do his job in accord with the law of the land, the Constitution, it would look like retribution, because there would be Democrats getting locked up left and right, as well as rhino Republicans. Rhino Republicans. In fact, there's an interesting story came out. Steve Garvey, as a Republican in California, is looking at possibly running against Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein should be looking for a sarcophagus to put her mummified ass in. She shouldn't be looking at another 6 years in D.C. Already, she has an entire hospital wing taking care of her on a daily basis to make sure she can function. Right? She is so bad, she's making Ruth Bader Ginsburg look lively and attentive. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg is still dead. Now, Steve Garvey, as a Republican, I don't know what kind of Republican he is. Oh, by the way, Steve Garvey was a Hall of Famer baseball player who played for the Padres and Dodgers when I was a kid. And anyways, it's unbelievable what's going on, folks. People, I hope Steve Garvey runs. I would rather have I don't know, would you rather have let's just ask this question. And I started to ask myself this question earlier. Would you rather have a Steve Garvey, rhino Republican from California, or would you rather have a Dianne Feinstein, total communist piece of crap Democrat? I don't know. Anyways, we're well over 300 people live. Give this video a thumbs up. Share that internet address up at the top of the screen. Share it with others. text it, email it, send it by phone, whatever it takes. Thanks, Jolene. Get that internet address out and get people live, paying attention, seeing what the hell's going on. Yeah, if we were to get a real attorney general and a real director in the FBI, fire the entire top 2 floors. Fucking fire them all, right? How could bringing someone up from like the 4th floor and putting them in charge, how could that be any worse than what we have in there now? Good God. Okay. But yeah, it would look like retribution because the criminals would be running for their lives. All right. Let's do this. Jolene, let's do another super chat donation. What do we have? Oh my goodness. How about that Blue Cord Devil? Now, for those who don't know, any super chat donation above $50 or more gets to buy a bottle or drink a shot of Glenlivet 18. Glenlivet 18 single malt scotch. Absolutely delicious. The Blue Cord Devil checks in every week, has a good time with us all. Thank you, sir. Semper Fi. Oh, yeah. That'll clear up your throat. It's like mother's milk. All right. He says, protect your gardens, people. Deer are so hungry this year, they ate my jalapeno plants and the few peppers on them. Had to replant. Hope those deer buttholes are on fire. Peace and prayers, John, and everyone else. Watch your 6. Personal gardens, private gardens, home gardens, community gardens are on the rise. People have had it with the bullshit going on. They're wanting to grow their own food. They want food security, for God's sake. Food security. And so, yeah, what does the government do? Well, in many places, folks, you're not allowed to have a garden, whether it's your homeowners association or some municipal restriction. But yeah, the threat, folks, as things get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, it's not just going to be animals. It's going to be other people wanting to get into the garden. You're going to have to guard your garden or go with guerrilla gardening, which is you hide your food plants amongst other vegetation. It takes effort. It takes practice. And once again, folks, practice now when things aren't so bad, because when it gets really bad down the line, you'll be able to put all of that experience to work. Find out what grows in your area, what has the best yield produce in your area, right? What has the most nutritional value for you. You know, what takes, you may have water limitations, water restrictions. Make sure, you know, whatever you're growing, you can water well enough. It's a skill. Gardening is a skill. It can be developed. And I also recommend heritage seeds. Heritage seeds. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil, very much. Jolene, if we've got a link to the Prepared Mind Seed Vault, we could throw that up on the screen. And folks, getting heritage seeds, seeds that reproduce themselves, they're not GMO, they're not mRNA, they're not alien seeds, right? Whatever it takes, make sure you got the ability to care for yourself and others when things, if and when things get really, really nasty. And they're going to get nasty. Not only has YouTube decided that they're going to allow us to talk about election fraud. There it is, Sproutman seeds. Okay, not only that, we've got, where do I want to go with this, right? They're pushing for more chaos in this country. Pushing for more chaos. And it's everywhere. In fact, one of Biden's appointees went to the United Nations and has demanded $5 million in reparations to every descendant of enslaved Africans and end the, quote, continuation of slavery, end quote, in the United States. This is, it is beyond irresponsible of these people to continue asking for reparations and millions of dollars for being related to somebody who was a slave and has been long dead for over a century. All right, this is just more race baiting to create race tension and fighting. That's what 2020 was about. Before the 2020 election, we had 2020 St. George Floyd bullshit. And it was, folks, it was some of the worst criminal behavior I think I've ever seen in this country. And it was, folks, allowed by the Democrats. All right, hit the thumbs up if you haven't done that. Let us continue. We've got more to talk about. Thank you very much on that. And, you know, what topics do we have? What do we want to hit? It's up to you. This is your show on Sunday Night Live. Jolene, who's up next? We've got Crazy Uncle back again with another $5 super chat donation. And he says, did you see the latest reports from Georgia? Potentially 80% loss in fruit, peaches in particular. South Carolina may be down 65% from last year. Well, it's just awful. You know, the weather, they want to call it climate change. I call it climate warfare. That's really what I see. That's really what I see is climate warfare. They can manipulate the climate. They've done it. They've demonstrated it, seems, time and time again. From the steering of hurricanes to the intensification of hurricanes and other storms. Once again, conspiracy theory or conspiracy fact? They want us to be short of food, so what do we get? The destruction of crops. Now, those Georgia peaches in particular are a big one. Not only does it take food off of your table, folks, but it breaks farmers. It causes them to go broke. Think about it. Every time a farmer can't meet his financial obligations because of crop failure, crop disease, whether it's disease or some other cause, cold weather, a late freeze during blossom, heavy rains, hailstorms during blossom, anytime they knock the blossoms off a tree, it's done. Those farmers go out of business. Who buys up the land? Who gets it? The bank. Who do they sell it to? Well, the highest bidder. Who's been buying farmland? Really rich people like Bill Gates and other foreigners. Once again, why? Right? I love to ask these questions: who, what, where, when, and why. Anyways, let us move on. I want to just wow. Who's next, Jolene? We got Chin Music in with a $19.99 super chat donation. He says, what's the alternative for us knowing what we know about our election system that hasn't been addressed? And with the rhinos, I hear all the time that Trump showed people the true Democrats. He showed me how weak our guys are. And I think that's true. I'm going to say, yeah, we learned who the Democrats are. We learned that they're full of hate. They're full of shit. They're full of lies. They'll say and do anything. They'll lie using government agencies, secret agencies like the CIA and the FBI, law enforcement agencies. They'll lie in court. They'll lie using jurors. We learned all about the Democrats. But I think we also learned, as Chimneys is pointing out, about the rhinos. That is, Republicans in name only. They call themselves Republicans, yet they don't act like, vote like, sound like what a real Republican should be. Trump helped us see. How many Republicans, folks, were never Trumpers? That sounds like something a Democrat would say, a radical, wacko, stupid-ass Democrat. But then we saw other Republicans, right, turning on Trump. And if they didn't turn on Trump, the weakness of them, their absolute weakness, it was just crazy to see how weak they are. What do I mean by weakness? Standing on principle. Standing on principle. the Republicans will vote for. They'll vote for this crap that McCarthy and Biden agreed was good. I mean, can you imagine sitting around waiting for the wolf and the bear and the tiger to decide, what they're going to have for dinner while you sit there and wait? You expect to get a fair shake in a situation like that? No, there's no way you would, right? There's no way you would. I mean, we had some really hardcore, tough Congress people who ended up bending over, selling out, right? Big Marge, who I used to call her, right? Marge Taylor Greene, we used to call her Big Marge. No, she sold out. She criticized Americans, right? And sided with McCarthy, a giant rhino, right? Voted for him, took pictures with him, like she was a little high school girl needing to be with a celebrity. And then, well, the last few weeks, she started chiming in, talking it up again. She even put out a bunch of articles of impeachment for Department of Homeland Security Mayorkas. That's right. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, Christopher Wray, head of the FBI, and then Joe Biden, President Biden, 4 articles of impeachment from her. Where are the impeachment proceedings? Well, Marge Taylor Greene, folks, I think put those out as a publicity stunt to try and satisfy Republicans who think, well, see, there it is. We got that taken care of. All done. Time to go back to sleep. No, I think it was a move. It was just to satiate the radicals. By the way, Marge Taylor Greene has now kind of basically screwed over the public about the January 6th tapes. She claims now that nope, the public doesn't need to see those January 6th tapes. It could, quote, put the security of the Capitol at risk. Oh, right, so now Marge Taylor Greene is now McCarthy's bitch once again. He reined her in. There it is, folks. We can't see Washington, D.C. We can't see the Capitol procedures, how they do things, how they respond, well, number one, they're inadequate. So it would be an embarrassment. Number two, those tapes would show the world all that the police were doing. The DC Metropolitan Police were letting people in, and you would see how friendly the people were. You would see how friendly the cops were with them. You would see them posing for pictures, doing selfies, having interviews, talking. You would see the left-wing lunatics staging fights with certain police. That's what you would see, and that's why those January 6 tapes need to stay away, because, yeah, the security of the Capitol would be at risk because the people would be pissed off. They've been lied to yet again. And where are the Republicans? Why aren't they standing up and screaming? Why haven't they kicked McCarthy out of the Speaker of the House seat? I think he's reneged on his promises. He promised he would do certain things, and he hasn't, in my opinion, stood up to what he promised he would do. Where's the impeachment? Where's the impeachment for a man who's committed massive amounts of treason, Joe Biden? Where is it? Well, let me add this to the prediction that I have, that we're going to have massive unrest in 2024, leading up to the election and then after. Here it comes, folks. They're pissing us off, Republicans. They've been trying to piss us off. They've been doing everything they can to piss us off, to let us know that they are a bunch of tyrannical scumbags in DC, in law enforcement, being the FBI, all of it, while they're getting the rest of the country, the Democrats, pissed off as well. They want us all hot as fuck under the collar and ready for a fight. They've even gotten the fruitcakes and fruit salad eaters out there, all of these left-wing ding-dongs, right? Now we have trannies with guns on the internet, posing with them, threatening us, and constantly using the word bash. I don't think so. But still, they want the fight, folks. They want the fight. The feds, the federal government, the deep state, folks, they're putting on a hell of a show. They brought out this group called Patriot Front, Now there's another group that's come out called the Aryan Freedom Network, the AFN. And once again, they wear masks, right? They wear hats, they wear glasses, they wear a shirt, and then they wear camouflage pants. They look, once again, like a bunch of federal goons, right? Pretending to be skinheads. Right? So the Aryan Freedom Network brought out at their rally at a protest in Texas on Saturday, they brought out the Confederate flag. Folks, the Confederate flag is on the state flag of many states, right? The Confederate flag was part of the state flags up till just a few years ago before all this shit started. So bringing out the Confederate flag, that is not the Nazi flag. Aryan Freedom Network should have brought out Nazi flags, not the Confederate flag. So you see how they're trying to tie Nazi to the Confederate, to the South, and to red states, that is freedom states. This is what they're pushing. Now, if a bunch of Aryan bastards brought out this supposed white supremacist Confederate flag, where was Antifa? Why didn't they show up and attack them? I'm just asking questions. Since when do the Aryan Freedom Network, I mean, why would the Aryans call themselves the Aryan Freedom Network? It smells like something created so that the news can carry it. I don't know. What do you guys think about that kind of shit? It smells and looks to me like federal agents pretending to be skinheads for the purpose of creating fear in the population that there is a radical right-wing white supremacist agenda out there. Folks, I've met real skinheads, real Aryans, real fucking people with Nazis tattooed on them, swastikas. They don't go to protests. That's not what they do. You don't want to know what the fuck they do. They're not nice people. They're not friendly people. They don't do protests. Unbelievable. Anyways, let's just continue. Let's move on. There's so much to cover here. We've got 2 hours. We're just about up with the first hour. The first hour, we haven't even gotten to Kiev and Russia. We've got a lot to talk about, but it is your show first and foremost. We're up at, 335 people live. Hit that internet address up there and share it with others. Email it out, text it out. Get people to wake the hell up. There is a whole lot of proof and evidence, folks, that they're out to destroy this country. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's way beyond that now. Anyways, and thank you everyone who have done great super chat donations and got some great topics up on the board. We've got a long way to go. Let's get there. Let's have some fun with it. And folks, let's expose what's going on. Jolene, who wants to step up next? We got Doing Stuff with Nikki. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. With a 762, right? 762 is the 308 round, folks. But it's in this case, it's $76.20 in a super chat donation. Biggest one of the day so far. Nikki, there it is. And there it is. Right? Up to the bullet. And that right there, folks, by the way, embedded in this shot glass is a 762 round. Thank you very much, Nikki. Bam. That is good. Anyways, Nikki says, wouldn't let me do 7620. Well, there it is, though. Anywho, we need to Grady Judd the planet. Love you and P.S. Fuck rainbows. I love you too, Nikki. You are one crazy lady. Good times. Good times. Grady Judd the planet. Folks, when she says we need to Grady Judd the planet, Grady Judd is a sheriff. A little sheriff in a county in Central Florida, Polk County, Florida. And Grady Judd is a no-nonsense, all-Constitution sheriff. And let me give you a little bit of information about him and why Nikki would say we need to Grady Judd everything. Number one, when people were threatening others in the the BLM riots, the St. George Floyd riots, he said, look, if anyone comes through your front door, you blow them right back out it with your gun. Right? They're not going to tolerate home invasion, intimidation, beatings, BLM, burning, looting, and murdering. Wasn't going to tolerate it in Polk County. He wanted his people to know, his citizens to know, right, that he was with them in the law. Additionally, Grady Judd and Polk County have gone after, I don't even know how many hundreds of child molesters they've caught now, pedophiles, people who are associated with the Disney regime who were hanging out and living in Polk County, which I guess is pretty close to the county that Disney is in. But apparently, Polk County is going to go after you if you're a criminal. And folks, there's no protection. No protection for anyone when a county sheriff gets a hold of you. County sheriff, folks, is incredibly powerful. He is the highest law enforcement of the land. Now, of course, the feds would have something to say about that. No. We're the most powerful. Well, not so much. The sheriff has incredible law enforcement power. And so I would say it rivals that of any federal agency that thinks they own a county. I've just seen too much, heard too much, and witnessed too much from good sheriffs. And folks, it would be great if the entire country could be Grady Judded. Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm telling you, Grady Judded. That means these pedo rainbow fruitcakes would just they'd be running for the oceans and jumping in the water and swimming away, because it's going to be their asses. These rainbow fruitcakes, folks, are off the hook. Off the hook. And when I say off the hook, folks, they are far worse than they admit. Right? When you take a criminal and you go, did you break the law? And they'll go, oh, yeah, I did that thing over there. You guys caught me. But you didn't hear about the other 3, 4, 5 crimes they committed. These people that are trying to groom children, imagine all of the other crimes they've committed in addition to that are far worse. It's just now they're allowed to groom them and call it, well, it's family-friendly entertainment. No, it's not, folks. And speaking of that, it is still Pride Month. It is the 4th of June, and the Pride crap is going on. But I wanted to let you know, folks, there is one baseball team out there, one and only one, that has refused to host an LGBTQ Pride Night. Every other team, folks, except for the Texas Rangers, God bless them, they have not hosted a welcome and celebration in over 2 decades for these fruitcakes. Good, right? The reason why? Last time they did, there was a huge anti-gay protest. In other words, the team has decided not to host any more of this crap because it's an insult to the other 99%. So now I'm waiting for the Texas Rangers, Major League Baseball, to try coming down, right? Or I'm waiting for the fruitcakes, the LGBT crowd, and Major League Baseball to try coming down on the Texas Rangers and make it some kind of mandatory thing. I'm waiting for them to be attacked, threatened, players, management assaulted, bomb threats, arson threats, etc., etc. I'm waiting for the fruitcakes to start picketing the baseball team at their stadium. I would find it very fascinating if they were escorted very roughly off their property because it's private property. But we'll see. We'll see if other teams grow a pair or if they do the weenie tuck and bend over and allow these fruits to continue to abuse everyone. everyone. Now, Megyn Kelly of the, oh, let's do some Megyn Kelly. We got some Megyn Kelly here. Yeah, right here.
With COVID, I mean, the things that we thought we knew in the beginning turned out as the months went by to not be the case, which really forced us to adapt and to change some of our policies and recommendations. That was interpreted by many as flip-flopping or not really knowing what's going on, when it really was the evolution of the science.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
The best vaccination is to get infected yourself. If she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
she should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
Fuck you, Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci, no.
There it is. That little girl, Megyn Kelly, right, who did not like the lies coming out of Dr. Anthony Fauci's mouth. She's now decided to no longer use preferred pronouns. That is to say, the malcontented fruit salad people out there, these ding-dongs in skinny jeans, she's decided no longer to use their preferred pronouns. That is to say, obey them and their demands, that we address them as they desire. Basically, I think without saying it, she said the slippery slope that has been this descent into madness with these people has led to, well, physical assault, rape, and murder of Americans by acquiescing to their gender dysphoria, their mental illness, because that's what it is. It is mental illness. The term is gender dysphoria. And like any other mental illness, it should not be encouraged, right? It should be addressed. They need treatment. They're sick people. They're sick people. Anyways, now back to, very quickly, back to baseball, Major League Baseball. They had a pride logo that they created with the Major League Baseball logo, and then the pride flag behind it. They pulled it, right? They yanked that. They wanted to have some woke symbolism, and then they pulled that stuff. And now they're denying the boycott claims. And no boycott. Folks, it is our country. We can take it back. We can stop rewarding these people for being absolute idiots. Okay, back to you guys. It is the Sunday Night Live Zoo. It is your show. And what do you want to talk about? Blue Core Devil is back with a 5762. 5762. Here it is, folks. Once again, if you do a $50 or more Super Chat donation to get your question up here live, I will not only have this bottle of 18-year scotch, I will enjoy it with you. Wow. And then we're going to have an impressive comment / question here coming from Blue Cord Devil. Folks, Prost, cheers, salut, and semper fi. God bless America. Ooh, man, this is smooth. Blue Cord Devil says, the Ohio governor is now sending state troopers to Texas along with NG to help with the invasion. National Guard, folks. NG, National Guard. 24 other governors have sent National Guard and law enforcement officers. Wonder if it will help any. Been through all years of Glenlivet in the last year. Just opened my first bottle of 18. Good deal, man, on that bottle of 18. Now, as far as sending National Guard from states and law enforcement officers from states to help in Texas to deal with the invasion of illegal immigrants pouring across the border, they are protected by the federal government now. The federal government, who is obeying, and this was brought up, I believe, by, was it Bonnie Blue or was it Darcy T? I can't remember. But it was brought up that it is United Nations. I believe it was, it doesn't matter. United Nations want safe migration rules. In other words, even though it violates the national security, that violates federal law, our national laws, the federal government is choosing instead to support, defend, and obey United Nations rules. It would be great. I would love to see the state of Texas stand down all Border Patrol and escort them out of Texas and say, look, you guys aren't doing your job. You are hereby relieved of duty. You may move along. And then have our other states and their National Guard man the border and the checkpoints, the crossing points, and deny everyone entrance into this country unless they have followed proper legal processes to get here. I would love to see that. Has it become clear to you yet? Has it become clear to you yet that the federal government is doing everything in its power to violate the rules, to ignore the rules, the laws, to allow a state of lawlessness in this country to exist and also persist? That's what it looks like to me. Everything they're doing is anti-American. It's incredible. But it's not about destroying the world. It's only about destroying America and Western civilization. And I have an example. All of the multinational super corporations are celebrating Pride Month in America. But did you know that in the Middle East, there will be no rainbows on corporate logos in those marketing efforts? Why? It's proof that this shit is here to destroy Western culture. They don't want to insult and offend nations that are Muslim. No. They don't want to offend the Muslims. They just want to offend us. They want to overrun and override and destroy us. America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, England, you bet. That's their point. That's their objective, folks. That is their objective, is to do that to us. Destroy us. You remember the other day, little Justin Trudeau, Fidel Castro's bastard son, according to some reports. He is the Prime Minister of Canada. He says, that anyone supporting the boycott of corporations, that's scary business. That's wrong. That's bad. That's scary. Boy, America is just a horrible place because we're boycotting corporations that are shoving this crap down our throats. No more. Boycott the fuck out of them. In fact, now I'm having fun. Chris Cyber Hana sent me an email with a list of all the corporations that are openly and out in our face woke. I couldn't open it. The link wouldn't open. It kept sending other stuff. But anyways, the point is we need to get a list of every one of these corporations. The NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL, you bet. The NBA, you bet. Coca-Cola, you want to be woke? You got it. Right? I'm not going to buy any of your shit anymore. Nike, Adidas, Budweiser for sure, right? They're the big one. Target, Kohl's. Any place I see a rainbow flag outside the business, I may as well just walk right in, ask the manager, ask the supervisor, hey, what's that flag stand for? And when they tell me, I'll say, good, you're not getting in my business, fuck off, and walk out. It's not hard. It's not illegal, folks, but it does get the point across. It does get the point across to speak your mind, to let these people know you don't approve of it. You don't. You don't have to. You shouldn't be coerced, bullied, or anything else. Right? It's time to stand up for America. America. They bastardized the American flag by turning it into a pride flag. They put their pride flags above the American flag. Wow. It's a clear violation of flag etiquette, which is, by the way, law. Let us move on if we shall. I think we got a super chat donation hanging around out there, and it is Bonnie Blue 2A. with a 99 super chat donation. 99.99. That's a lot of nines up there. And so, Bonnie, I'm going to have yet another Glenn Levitt. And I'm getting a little bit dizzy, but staying on target. Good golly. Here we go. Here's to all that's true, the red, white, and blue. Semper Fi. God bless America. Wow. Bonnie Blue 2A, thank you for your great support. She and many of you others, you guys have been here a long time, supporting the message. And Bonnie Blue says, don't allow the mainstream media to distract you with propaganda. Keep prepping like the lives of your loved ones depend upon it. We live in a clown world. We do live in a clown world. These clowns are intentionally destroying everything. They're taking this country apart piece by piece. Piece by piece. You used to think that your doctor gave a shit? Yeah, we found out in the Cerveza Bug Madness exactly how much they cared. And then we found out doctors, they could sell out again over the Jim Jones juice. Now, folks, this is an interesting story. Chaos erupts at a conference because a husband stormed the stage and roughed up the doctor because he said this doctor assaulted his wife sexually 7 years ago. Now, I thought, well, that's an interesting story. And so I read down and I found a tweet, a Twitter thing from the OBGYN, right? The obstetrician gynecologist Twitter account. But then I went, what is that? Their medical symbol, their handle, their avatar was a pro-groomer LGB flag. So the OBGYN association is pro-groomer LGBT, right? You can't get away from that, folks. It's everywhere. Everywhere is anti-American. So, police in New York. They've got some pride crap on their police cars. I don't understand why that's allowed. Where is the pro-America? Where's the pro-Second Amendment? Where is the pro-free speech? Where is the pro-life stickers and iconography and promotions being put on New York Police Department cars for everyone else? Why is it just the pride fruits? Oh, by the way, remember ACAB from the 2020 Summer of Love? Stands for All Cops Are Bastards. Well, the police got tricked. ACAB showed up on those little stickers that got put on there. It was like all colors are belonging or some shit like that. ACAB again. Except it didn't say all cops are bastards. It's all colors are belonging, whatever the hell it was. But they used the same letters, ACAB, put them on cop cars. Big slap in the face, you stupid sons of bitches. Just like the cops who took a fucking knee in 2020. I'm going to get pissed off here. I got to be careful. Woo! I'm telling you, folks, they want the chaos. They want social unrest. They want partisan conflict, and they'll get it. They're going to get it. Now, we've gone an hour, folks, an hour and 15 minutes without talking about, Kiev, Russia. Well, I wanted to let you guys know that the media has been conveniently ignoring the Nazi connection to, how do we say, the Democrats and their side. Now, in Chicago, there was a Ukraine supporter who was in a police standoff. A Ukraine supporter in a police standoff. He ended up getting killed or kills himself. Ukraine supporter with a Nazi flag. Who are the real Nazis, folks? Who are the real Nazis? They're right out there. They're in everyone's face. They're literally in everyone's face. I mean, let me give you some more. Ukraine's fighters are continuing to do little sneak attacks and cross over into Russia and to Belgorod. And they're committing acts of terror. And they've been joined now. Literally, they've been joined, these Ukrainian fighters who come across, by neo-Nazi Russians. That's right, folks. Neo-Nazi Russians are now fighting alongside the Ukraine military that is coming across the border and sneaking in and committing acts of terror in Belgorod. By the way, they're killing civilians. They're destroying businesses. They're killing civilians. Nazis, folks, in these cross-border raids. So the Ukrainians, folks, they're obviously Nazis as well, whether they're in Chicago or in Russia. It's funny how fascism was supposed to be defeated back in World War II. Yet it thrives in Ukraine, and it is supported by the US government, the UK government, and the European Union government, just as Hitler was supported back in the 1920s and 30s, and funded by United States and United Kingdom bankers. What a world, folks. You want facts? You want conspiracy theory? Well, I tell you what, I'll give you facts. You can do what you want with it after that. You can do what you want. So I gave you some Ukraine updates. I'll give you some more. Ukraine is, folks, pissing Russia off. And Zelensky says that they are, quote, ready for the Ukraine counteroffensive against the Russians. Wow. So I pulled this one out of Zero Hedge, this article. And it says, Ukrainian leadership continues saying it's going to, quote, get back what's ours. Folks, Ukraine, Kiev, does not own every province. The same way Washington, D.C. doesn't own Alaska. Washington, D.C. doesn't own Texas. Washington, D.C. doesn't own Florida or New Hampshire or Michigan or Utah. All it does is help govern. But Ukraine in Kiev, they think they own their little states. Over on the east side of the country, they decided they don't want to be part of the Ukraine country anymore, and they broke away. And they joined and became part of Russia. But Ukraine, folks, the military leadership and Zelensky, they want to get back what's ours as if they own it. Folks, the country belongs to the people. Now, the chief military officer, General Valery Zalulazny, right? What a great name that, right? He wants to get back what's ours. And Volodymyr Zelensky, folks, has been telling the Western press, quote, we strongly believe that we will succeed. And then Zelensky, folks, he went and he did another interview with the Wall Street Journal about this much anticipated, super duper counteroffensive that's going to happen over there. And he wants to talk about how they're going to succeed, strongly believe, after they just got their asses kicked in Bakhmut, which of course was met with military propaganda, the Russians pretending to be, undersupplied, and that the Wagner forces weren't happy with the Russian Congress and also Putin, but they ended up stomping the liver. It was a giant Sun Tzu lesson for Ukraine and the West. Anyway, Zelensky came out and said, well, we got this counteroffensive coming. He says, I don't know how long it will take. This is Voldemort, by the way. To be honest, it can go a variety of ways, completely different. But we are going to do it, and we are ready. It can go a variety of ways, folks. There's win and lose. Those are your ways. And they're completely different. Unbelievable, folks, that Zelensky thinks he can lead the military, and his officer corps are going to lead the military. I want to know, since when do male prostitutes, skinny jeans wearing, dancing, singing fruits who commit treason and a coup d'etat become military experts once their nation is invaded? I don't think that's a tough question to ask. I think getting the answer is impossible, though. Right? When did Zelensky become an expert at anything other than applying his lips to the rods of other males? Folks, this is a huge issue. What is going to happen over there? Are they going to take us to World War III? Is Russia pissed off because more attempts have been made on Putin's life and these bombings and incursions into Russia are happening? These raids, if you want to call them that. Right? I'm not exploiting any of this. The exploitation is being done by Zelensky, is being done by the media, is being done by the corporations that want to make a shit pile of money over there. All right. I just had to talk about it. We've gone far too long without mentioning World War III. Also, folks, the Russians are bringing up, that's right, nuclear war. They're like, hey, you guys want to have at it? We'll give you some nukes. Crazy, crazy stuff. I think that if that was a hypersonic missile that was flown over DC, it wouldn't surprise me if the Russians didn't call and say, this is Vladimir Putin. Put me in touch with Biden. Do it now, right? And so he goes, okay, Biden, in 10 minutes, we're going to fly a missile over you. You're not going to see it or hear about it till it's long gone. It won't have a nuclear warhead on it. Don't worry. This is a message, though, that if we did, it would get there before you even could know it. All right, folks. That's there's a fake phone call for you that probably isn't far from what actually happened. Let's do this. Let's do some more super chat donations. It is your show, after all. And we're almost up to 400 people live. I got a little number on my screen telling me we need to get up to 500. I want to get there. We got another half an hour plus to get there. Hit that thumbs up button, folks, because that tells YouTube. Send it out to more people. Let them know this is a show. Let them know it's very popular. Let them know people give a shit about these topics. And here's a topic right here. Pow! From Chin Music. And he's got a $19.99 super chat donation. He says, John, if you just think of the Democrats and the government as a foreign occupying force that's trying to kill you, then it all makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. They're doing everything they can. The federal government and these multinational corporations that have great names like, I don't know, Ford, General Motors, Budweiser, InBev. Folks, the major sports leagues are international now. Right? That's why they kiss China's ass. No one's allowed to insult or say anything that, well, is insulting to China, because they make their money in China. They're foreign corporations operating within our national borders. They are an occupying force. Look at what they're doing. They're completely awful. Completely awful. Now, I felt that this was a very important thing, and I'll tie it in. We can leave Chin Music's statement up there. I think it's actually relevant to this. The boycotts, according to James Lindsay, are revealing the racketeering scam, the extortion scam that's going on in our country, and that these woke corporations are totally engaged in it. Totally engaged in it. Now, the Corporate Equality Index is the CEI. And of course, everyone has also heard of, right, the other business ramp, right? What is it? Help out. I just stepped on a landmine. Oh my gosh. Right. We got the CEI, which is the Corporate Equality Index. And then you have the investing, right? The investing side, where the more woke you are, like the more, how should we say, the more investment you'll get out of these hedge funds. So the CEI measures how well a company's policies adhere to a set of criteria concerning LGBTQ equality in the workplace. So businesses, folks, that get the highest possible CEI points are given the title Best Place to Work for LGBTQ Equality. Well, who gives a shit, right? Who would want these people in their company if that's all they care about? Anyways, more than 800 businesses in America met that criteria. And so they got that designation. So that's what they're trying. That's what these corporations want, folks. That's why they're flying the pride crap everywhere. That's why they're pushing this. It's to destroy our values and reward themselves, right? Pardon me. All this diversity, all this equality crap, all this inclusion crap, right? Environmental governance crap, all of it, folks, is designed so that investment firms know which companies to invest in. So who's pushing this? Who is pushing this, right? So Anheuser-Busch lost their perfect CEI corporation, right? Well, they almost did. Instead, in spite of the customer backlash, the loss of billions of dollars, Anheuser-Busch pledged again last week to donate $200,000 towards LGBTQ business owners of color. They're throwing money at the fruitcakes out there, folks. They're hiring them into their boards, and it's causing a lot of problems, folks. I mean, look at it this way. These aren't my words. This is James Lindsay. He says, the fact that a company would rather further upset customers than to get a lower social credit rating shows how this extortion racket works and how serious the extortion racket is. He says, this reveals a lot of things that are very useful. We can have hearings. We could have the House Oversight Committee talking about this, and they could ask these companies, this is his questions. Why are you doing this? How important is that number? Why is this number so important? How did this number come to mean so much to your company? Who made the deals? What are the costs? These kind of things need to be dragged out into the public under oath and in high places. Folks, in other words, they're willing to destroy business to get these high numbers. Why? It makes no sense. They're not making money with it. They're losing money with it. So why are these numbers important? Who made these deals? Why are they willing to destroy their companies? Well, like I said, a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago said, hey, it's marketing. They're looking at these losses as a marketing campaign, an advertising campaign, because they think they're going to win ultimately, and this will win them points. Well, this is going to end up in court because they are corporations. They're corporations. The Democrats, the government is an occupying force, and these corporations are pushing an agenda. They're pushing a huge agenda. So he says, we now have very good reason to believe that shareholders have excellent lawsuits in potential for the violations of fiduciary responsibility. Meaning these companies have a duty to their owners who are the shareholders. They're publicly traded to make money, not lose money in order to get, right, in order to get their corporate equality index score to the very top. Do they get tax breaks? Do they get special incentives? Do the people that run the corporation, do they get bonuses by running this this 100-point, agenda? I've got to get to the 100 points. Screw the company, screw the money, everyone else, and fuck America. Right? That's what the Democrats seem to be like as well. And I'm referring back to Chin Music's post. It says, do you think Democrats and the government, or just think of them, Democrats and the government, as foreign occupying force? They're doing everything they can. They're violating their own oaths. They're violating our national laws. They're risking our national sovereignty to go what? To allow us to be invaded and to go to war with Russia over an action, folks, that many people feel the government shouldn't be involved in. Are they getting rewarded? Ask Hunter Biden. You could ask Joe Biden if he could put two sentences together. We've got some big trouble. Bonnie Blue's absolutely correct. All of this stuff that's happening are real actions. Everything that's going on out there and over there, we're being told about it, and it's propaganda to drive the enemies of America into a state of madness to come after us. And they are. From Antifa to BLM to the LGBT fruit salad freaks, all of them. They're coming after kids, adults, businesses, everything. And the woke corporations, the woke mega corporations, are coming after us with their continued use of symbology that is anti-American. Meanwhile, right, they're laundering money through FTX. Remember that story? Sam Bankman-Fried fraud, who was arrested for sending billions and billions and tens of billions and tens of billions of dollars over to Ukraine, laundering it and sending it back to American politicians who have lined their pockets. And they don't want to give that money back. I think Joe Biden took some of his money, wouldn't admit how much, and didn't say they would give it back. This is about fleecing us and selling our country out. Bonnie Blue says you better get prepared. All of this is propaganda to demoralize us and encourage our enemies. Don't let it chase you away. Let it make you stronger, I think is the best way to put it. We're going to have the trouble, folks. It's coming. It's coming. Jolene, who do we have up next? We have Blue Cord Devil is back again. Uh-oh. Well, number one, I could use one of these after reading what I just read. Good golly. All right. Apparently there's some shenanigans in the comment section, which I'm not privy to because I'm busy dealing with questions. But Blue Cord Devil, thank you, brother. Semper Fi, God bless America. Pow. He says, this one is for Nikki, spanking Uman's story. I think Nikki's getting the best of somebody. Spanking Uman, sorry, not story. I think my vision might be getting a little bit cross-eyed here as we go through all of this non-news satire. Good golly. All right. What do we got here? Okay. Thank you, Jolene. Okay. Just unbelievable what's going on. By the way, let's go back to Kiev. I want to let you know what's happening over there. Kiev being the capital of Ukraine. Russia has been bombing the shit out of them since they have decided they're going to go after Russia. They're doing nightly bombing campaigns into their second week now. Their intelligence, right? In other words, their CIA, Pentagon headquarters has been hit. They're taking them out, folks. While Zelensky pretends that they're going to win on this offensive, Russia has continued to hit tactical targets from intelligence headquarters, supply lines, ammunition dumps, equipment staging areas. It's not looking good for Ukraine, folks. Not when this is all happening. All right. Get your super chats in if you want to have your thoughts, your comments up on the board. This is your show, and we do it. Let's see. We do super chat, we do Venmo, we do PayPal, and we do Cash App. Oh my goodness, man. What is going on? What is happening out there? We have an awful lot of stupid folks. Stupid. Let us bring it back over this country from the great country of Ukraine and talk about what's going on here, right? They had one of their Pride events. Pride event. Let me find out where this Pride event was. That way you can be sure not to go there. You don't want to be a Trump supporter, folks. You certainly don't want to be wearing a Make America Great Again hat, right? Because you are going to get assaulted. Let's see here. It doesn't even say where it was at. Anyways, folks, the inclusive, right, the very tolerant left decided that they were going to verbally, do I want to use the word terrorize or traumatize or bully, right, make fun of, attack a Trump supporter at a gay pride event. And then ultimately, she was assaulted physically by these fruitcakes, right? Why did she go? Well, I think what happened is she just wore a Make America Great Again hat and walked calmly through the crowd. But when they noticed the hat, right, they started screaming at her. They started grabbing at the hat. One fruitcake started screaming at her, Nazi, 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 right? Screamed at her like that. Don't you think that Americans ought to be able to be free? For example, if one of these LGBTQ people showed up at a Trump rally and wasn't violent, right, wasn't breaking any rules, do you think that right-wing Republicans would assault him or her? Nope. Nope. Well, Simon Atiba, who is the Today News Africa reporter, asked this very important question. He said, who is the hater? The person wearing the MAGA hat or the person assaulting her and repeatedly screaming at her, calling her a Nazi? He says, the level of intolerance is unbelievable. Well, I say, believe it, it's true. Right? It's normies, normal people are being attacked by these fruitcakes. And there's irony in all of this, folks. When America falls, where exactly will the gays all go to? These are actually quotes from normal Americans who read this story and decided to respond to it. They said, when America falls, where exactly will all the gays go to? They should know that Marxists, communists, and National Socialists, that's the Nazis, literally exterminated gay people. And another person said, the tolerant message from anyone who is not normal is, support our mental health or we'll kill you. That seems to be it. I mean, Americans get it. We get it. We got the message from these people. We understand what it is they're saying now. The mystery is now gone. They want us dead. They want your children in their homes. That's basically who they are and what they want. And it's going to continue to be crazy, folks. Now, to explain this in a little more detail, the left is looking for every excuse to just lose their shit. Now, a conservative comedian cracked what was called an overtly racist joke as a Newsmax segment went off the rails. This is according to the HuffPost, folks, HuffPost.com. The right-wing comic they were talking about inclusivity, right? And made a comment about fried chicken. And of course, they wanted to say that was a racist joke, right? Racist, overtly racist, to make a comment about chicken, fried chicken. Folks, fried chicken is inclusive. It is not about blacks or Southern culture. Fried chicken is inclusive. Kentucky Fried Chicken is everywhere, including New Zealand. Right? You got Church's Chicken, Popeye's Chicken, you got Chick-fil-A. Everyone loves fried chicken. You got what, PDQ? How many more chicken places are there? How is fried chicken racist? Everyone likes fried chicken. Chicken is inclusive for all. Whether you're straight or gay, you can like fried chicken. Everything, folks, they want to use to divide us, to attack us. I'm still bewildered as to why the term, the phrase, make America great again is fascist or Nazi. And it still surprises me that through the years we've been dealing with this left-wing, you're a fascist crap since Trump took office in 2016, 9 years ago. why these people haven't learned what fascism really is and who the fascists really are. Let's see, fascists are known for burning books and silencing their opposition. They're known for bullying those they don't like. They're known for arresting everyone they don't like, prosecuting people they don't like. That's what Nazis and fascists do, right? So why is it that when the left does it, it's just fine? And once again, yeah, they don't realize, or they don't seem to understand, that they're useful idiots. And all useful idiots to despotic regimes are ultimately killed once the political agenda is met. China killed its radicals when it became communist. The Soviet Union, Russia became the Soviet Union, and once it had control of the country as communist, it killed its radicals. And same with Germany. They killed Jews and homosexuals as well as their radicals. They got rid of their regular army, the SA, because Hitler was afraid of it. Right? He was afraid it would turn against him because, well, they're fucking crazy people, folks. But yeah, fried chicken is inclusive. I want everyone to know that. Maybe I'll go have fried chicken tonight. Quite a show, folks. I mean, where do we go? Where do we go? Everyone knows Tom Fitton, right? Everyone should know Tom Fitton. Right? He is a super attorney who's constantly fighting to hold Washington, D.C. responsible. He's basically come out and said, hey, look, the FBI targeted him at his home because after the Mar-a-Lago raid, Tom Fitton was defending him, Trump, that is. Understand, folks, these people are radical. The government, and whether you want to call them fascist or corporatist, it doesn't matter. Government persecution has started. Government intimidation has started. And even super attorneys like Tom Fitton, right, they're feeling the pressure and the heat. If they can make people shut up, give up, go away, be silent, and hide, that is exactly what the Nazis did to their people in Germany prior to World War II. They're doing the exact same thing. Everyone who says, man, I don't know why the German people didn't stand up and tell Hitler to kiss their ass. Right? Why did they do that? Why did the German people back down? Because it took years and years and years of abuse by the Nazi regime of Germany to beat the people into submission, to silence them. Hitler, folks, was politically active in the early 1920s. It wasn't until the early 1940s that World War III erupted. So for 20 plus years, they were fundamentally changing the German political perspective. Ultimately, the people were silenced out of fear as the Nazi regime got more and more power and police power and military power. Ultimately, they started arresting their political dissenters, just like Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine is doing, until the people were subdued and Germany became and came out as this horrifyingly evil government military ideology. That's how it is, folks. They start by taking a truth and turning it into a lie. Here's an example for you. Perhaps you've got more examples. But in Utah, a school district there has now banned the King James Bible. The King James version of the Holy Bible. They've banned it because of, quote, violence and vulgarity. But LGBT, fruit salad, anal sex, and gay BJs is fine as illustrated material to have in the classrooms, right? And having communist flags in the classroom is fine, even though they've murdered over 100 million of their own people. That's just fine too. But the Bible is full of violence and vulgarity. If you look at the Bible, not as a spiritual book, but as a catalog of human history, leave the spirituality out of it. It shows what government and corrupt and evil and perverted people do. You want some of the violence and vulgarity? Read the part about Sodom and Gomorrah, where the homosexuals, aka sodomites, demanded that people turn over, right, visiting, shall we say, dignitaries, so that they could have sex with them. That's right. They demanded to have sex with God's emissaries or messengers or angels. That was how they did it, folks. And that's what happens. The vulgarity, folks, comes from the evil people. All right, let's do this. Let's change subjects again, and let's see what's up with a super chat donation coming from. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. Holy cow! It is Blue Cord Devil again. He says, last super chat for tonight. Let me pour off another one, Blue Cord Devil. Woo! I'm telling you, you guys have been at it all night in the background. I am sure I'll hear about it after the show from Mr. Ooman. Here we go. Blue Cord Devil, Semper Fi. And he says, last super chat for tonight, asking for prayers for my wife. She has stopped eating. Hospice is helping us. Don't know how much longer I'll have her in my life. Y'all have been a great family. I can reach out to. Thank you. Blue Cord Devil, prayers to your wife. I don't have words for this, man. I hope that she recovers, but I know what hospice is. You know, prayers for good things. All right. Submitted. Thank you again, brother, for the support you show the show. Oh, boy. Where do we go next, folks? Where do we go next? Well, we've got Russia and Ukraine. Don't forget, folks, that China wants Taiwan. They want it bad. So China is continuing to push America and push America. And what does America look like? It looks like a bunch of bumbling idiots and fools, from Joe Biden to the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd the Loser Austin. Now, just a few days ago, Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense for the United States government out of Washington, D.C. That sounds very powerful, doesn't it? Lloyd Austin was in Asia for a military summit and basically was dissed. Well, he's flown home, and now a Chinese warship has nearly collided, folks, with a United States Navy destroyer over in the Taiwan Strait. The Taiwan Strait runs between Taiwan and China. China wants to claim that as national waters, and the rest of the world says, no, that's international waters. But China seems to be pushing it. They have no respect for America, folks. Whether you want to think of the Chinese as a bunch of war hawks, or whether you want to think of them as a bunch of racists, hating everyone else on the planet, thinking they're superior, whatever the deal is, whatever you think of them, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what they're willing to do. It doesn't matter what they believe. It doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. None of that matters. What matters is, what are they willing to do? What are you willing to do to be prepared? What are you willing to do to protect yourself and your family? What are you willing to do when things get bad? Well, folks, imagine if China had actually rammed a U.S. destroyer, right? When China and Russia decide to pull the plug, when they decide to go gold-powered and gold-backed, look out. Whether it's war with ships, war with tanks, or war with money, it is coming. World War III is expanding. It is a propaganda war. It truly is, folks. It's a propaganda war. It's a technological war. Once again, hypersonic missile technology. How real is it? It's real. How is it being used? We'll never know, will we? We'll never know. Oh, by the way, let's see. Man, I think the subconscious mind has been working on the whole sonic boom thing. A lot of it is also proximity. So a jet flying at, say, 60, 70,000 feet, when it goes supersonic, you'll hear the boom, but it's a lot further away. So if the boom is strong enough, right, to shake the ground, I imagine whatever it is pretty close to the ground. Pretty close to the ground. And I've had, I've had some flyovers pretty close. In fact, you were talking about flyovers, blowing windows out of buildings. It's crazy stuff. Right. So anyways, I really think that the war effort, the saber rattling, is keying up. And it's going to get a lot crazier. But I am now going to take this channel, this discussion, this Sunday Night Live, this zoo into, well, not a brave new world, but where no man has gone before. We're going to go Star Trek on you, folks. Get this. They had a huge scientific forum, meeting, convention. And scientists say disclosure of the extraterrestrial life forms is happening now. Right? Here's a quote from this article, folks, that said, right, the official search is accelerating. In an increasingly dangerous world, some say a realization of our place in the universe is the only hope for humanity. That was from the article. That in an increasingly dangerous world, and have we not been talking about how dangerous our world is? Some say a realization of our place in the universe is the only hope for humanity. Well, back in the early 1980s, Reagan said that, well, how soon would we forget our differences if an extraterrestrial threat showed up, right? Mankind would unite. And this speech was made while the Soviet Union was a big threat. The nuclear war threat was huge. Why are they continuing to push this extraterrestrial crap? Is it real? Well, according to the people at this conference, the extraterrestrials are here. They have been here, and they've been here for a very, very long time, and they've been involved with us for a very long time. Are we getting more teasers on this, folks? How does that play into SHTF? Are the LGBTQ people going to line up to be the first to be probed? In fact, I might ask, I thought, well, maybe this whole extraterrestrial thing is why they wanted to introduce the world population to mRNA technology. That there's something that they could give us that would help defend us against some sort of extraterrestrial disease. Turns out, of course, that the more you take the Jim Jones juice, the more susceptible you are to all disease, whether it's extraterrestrial or not. Now, we'll just set that aside. Back to this ET question. They've been threatening it for years, even decades. Alien invasion. You can go back to the early 90s for Independence Day. Great movie. Very entertaining. Right? That these beings would come here. What do you think of that shit? What do you think of this? That the only hope for humanity is to reveal to the people that there are aliens among us. Would you be surprised? Would you panic? Or would you be like, fucking figures? Now that explains it, right? I mean, does Elon Musk take his mask off? With Joe Biden? Does Nancy Pelosi take off her mask and reveal her lizard tongue? I mean, good golly. I've had quite a few shots of Glenn Levitt, folks, so I couldn't leave this story on the back burner. I had to bring it out at the end of the show. What do you guys think of this ET? Is that the next thing? I mean, now, Zelensky tried doing peace terms with Russia a few months ago. And he was talked back into it. I think he was threatened back into it. Like, look, you little bastard, you're going to go back in there. You're going to keep fighting the Russians. You're going to keep throwing your people into the meat grinder and getting them killed. We're going to keep giving you weapons. You're going to keep using them. In fact, we don't care if you're losing. You're going to go over the border and start doing raids in their country to escalate. We need this World War III thing, damn it. Get on it. What's the objective? I'll give you some more theory, folks, and it's just conjecture. But the theory is, one of the working theories, is they're so willing to kill everybody, whether it's with war or famine or disease. They're so willing to kill everybody because they're ready to go to a more automated, more robotic future where it's all high tech and not as many people are needed. You know, from farming to other agricultural food production things, we don't need all the people you used to need to make the food for the world. So why not get rid of the people that they don't want? Sure, makes sense, right? They don't need them. Robots can actually start building and making more robots. These people are megalomaniac assholes, folks. These are the things they think. We don't need people. Let's start killing them. The only thing they don't want to do is destroy the planet in the process, right? Because they got to live here too. It's not the movie Elysium where they've got a high-tech space moon, right? A satellite, if you will, that millions of people live on with their super richness. They've got to protect the planet as best they can for themselves, they think, and get rid of us. So why not have war, famine, pestilence, and why not have an extraterrestrial threat that comes down and it wipes out the population? Does that make sense to you? It seems like it makes sense to me. Why blame Russia? Why blame China? Why blame America? Why blame Europe? Why not blame ET, right? I don't know. Just a couple of thoughts. Like I said, I get a few scotches in me. Who knows what I'll say? Okay. I don't know where to go. Pride Month, folks. We've got a whole month of this. To me, it's continuing to be insulting. Absolutely insulting that for 4th of July, we get 1 day. For veterans, we get 1 day. To memorialize those who have fallen, we get 1 day. To memorialize and celebrate the birth of Christ, 1 day. The rising of Christ, 1 day. If you're a homosexual, you get a whole month, and all the corporations around the world throw caution to the wind, half destroy their corporations, and show us what a bunch of suck-ups they are. Makes no sense. But it's not just at the corporate level, folks. Kellogg High School is going to punish and exclude a senior from the graduation ceremony because he said the words, "Guys are guys and girls are girls. There is no in between." What is wrong with this? Folks, pride means no free speech for science. I think what this kid said is pretty accurate. Guys are guys and girls are girls. There is no in between, right? Either you're a XY chromosome or an XX chromosome. XX is women. And I'm still surprised at how many women are willing to allow their gender to be, well, marginalized. Just treated like shit. I thought women were supposed to be strong and stand up for themselves. Instead, what do we see? We see women just laying down. I mean, there are some fighting. I mean, we've got Megyn Kelly is fighting back. Others are trying to fight back. Some pro players are fighting back. The Texas Rangers are fighting back. Mark Wahlberg is trying to create a new Hollywood. Too late. No one wants to see any of this Hollywood shit anymore. But people are trying. We, the people, are the ones who are making the real difference, folks. People like you. People like you on this network talking and then sharing with others. Telling them, hey, thumbs up this material. Right down there, folks. Be sure you subscribe. Thumbs up. Right? Hit that bell. There's a notification bell. So any information that comes out, you are now privy to. It's that kind of world, folks, where it's up to us to win or we're bound to lose. Chance favors the prepared mind. I've said it for years, and I mean it more now than ever. If we don't stand up for ourselves, folks, they're going to overrun, they're going to crush us, they're going to kill us. We may as well be ruled over by a bunch of aliens, because what they're doing is so foreign and so alien to my nature that it makes me question and go, oh yeah, this is a clown world. And thank you, Bonnie Blue, for that clown world stuff. So the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed the satire. I hope you do some research. We got a lot of facts we need to go over and think about. What do I say? You better have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and means of self-defense. Put it together with a plan. Understand who our enemies are and where they're at. They're in this country. They're around the world. And hell, they may even be in outer space. But in any instance, folks, in every instance, it seems like our enemies are wanting to take away what we have. And that is our rights and our freedoms, our dignity and our pride, and our nations. Godspeed, Semper Fi. I'll see you guys all later.